stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
All right, running a little bit late. 4 minutes, that's not bad. Hello, everybody. I'm going to check my microphone. All right, it's working. It was the cord. While I was cleaning, because I'm doing a deep clean right now, I found another cord. So, surprise, surprise. That's what happens when we clean house, right? Isn't that weird? You find all the stuff you've been looking for forever. I'm getting a fan because this is a hot topic. Kidding. Oh, all right. Welcome to Daily Trudge. I'm Dion. I usually host this thing. Actually, I always host it. Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, I hope I can make it a good meeting for you then. If you're here, please say hello. And you guys, I will let you know. A lot of times it says Facebook user, and I'm not sure who you are. So you might, when you say hi, if you could include your name, it wants you to do something else to pop up. You're not required to do it. Okay, you don't have to do that. You don't need another app on your phone just so I can see what your name is. Okay, I think that's stupid. Hey, you know what? Then I came on right on time, didn't I? I did this all. Then I did. Ugh. Then I wasn't late. Now I know why it happened the way that it happened. See, you can plan your plan, but oh, hi, Sherry. Welcome, Sherry. It's good to have you. Can you go lay down? Go. Go. She's deaf, so she can't hear me. I got to point and stuff and make angry faces, or she just doesn't listen. There you go. Good girl. I think something's going on with her. All right. All right. So today we're going to talk about emotional sobriety. Because I've been hearing a lot of stuff in meetings that is really emotional sobriety. And a lot of the steps that we have are emotional sobriety. See, that tends to get rid of people pretty quick, usually the men. Hey, there's a guy talking about his emotions. I'm out of here. It's a joke I have. You want to see me clear a room? Yeah, I'll start talking about my feelings as a man. That'll clear a room pretty quick. Makes people uncomfortable. Carrie, good to see you. Okay. It, it, it. I'm fucking with you. That was me. Good to see you, Carrie. I'm glad you're doing well, honey. I love you. Um, One thing before I get started. If you make plans with somebody and you can't make it, or okay, I had a call today, right? And I called them, and I get a message. Sorry, I got caught up when what I was doing. I'll call you back. That's not an acceptable answer for me. Okay, I'm gonna have to accept it. But here's the thing: what that person just said was, "What you're doing is not a priority in my life." That's what they just said to me. So be careful. Be careful. Okay. Um, um, think about other people's time, man. Think about other people's time. Um, and, I've had a lot of, I made a decision today. I'm not going to do any more of this extracurricular stuff for free anymore. I'm done. I don't think people are taking me serious enough. I've applied at Aurora Mental Health. I'm going to wait till I start working there, and then I'm going to start doing that. Okay. But God is saying, I'm not getting paid what I'm worth. And I'm working on my self-esteem right now, and unfortunately, money has to do with that. So, um, I do a lot of extracurricular stuff. That does not mean this. This is my passion. Trudging together will be going nowhere. It's all the other stuff that I do. But good news on that. That's going to free up my time for something that I really enjoy doing, and that is podcasting. So I'm going to bring a little bit of podcasting back while we're waiting for things to get set up. Because I'm tired of saying, "Hey, we need to get it." I'm just tired of it, right? And I have to worry, and I have to be concerned about my own emotional sobriety. That's why this topic came up. So let's get started. This is on. This is actually out of the Language of the Heart, which is a bunch of grapevine writings written by Bill W. Okay, this is called "The Next Frontier: Emotional Sobriety," and it was written in January of 1958. Um, it is a little lengthy, but I've read this a couple times, so I go through it kind of quick. But it is well worth the read. If you have depression, anxiety, PTSD, any of this stuff, this is a fantastic read for those people. Okay. If you're duly diagnosed, this is a good one. Okay. All right. I think that many oldsters, okay, old timers, people with 10 or more years of sobriety, that is an old timer, who have put our AA booze cure to severe but successful tests, still find that they lack emotional sobriety. Perhaps they will be the spearhead for the next major development in AA, the development of much more real maturity and balance, which is to say, humility in our relations with ourselves, with our fellows, and with God. Okay? When was the last time you went to a meeting and they talked about emotional sobriety? This is a topic I bring up a lot at my meetings. It is if you chair, have an emotional sobriety meeting. It is going to confuse people at first. Some people are even going to get mad. Who fucking cares? It is in our literature from the man that started this. I think we ought to listen to him because he has some really good things to say here, and he is correct. All right. So, those adolescent urges so many of us had for top approval, perfect security, and perfect romances, urges quite appropriate to age 17, proved to be an impossible way of life when we are at the age of 47 or 57. What he is saying there is that when you are 47 or 57 and you act like a 17-year-old, it is not appropriate. When you're 40 years old and throwing yourself on the ground because you're not getting what you want, those are adolescent urges that so many of us have for top approval. Since AA began, I have taken immense wallops in all these areas because of my failure to grow up emotionally and spiritually. There is the key to this. I hated hearing this. I hate saying it, but it's true. You must take responsibility for your own emotions, no matter what anybody else has done. I know. I know. I get it. They hurt you. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring up something. Okay. And you're probably going to relate. You've done your fourth step. You've done your fifth step. And in fact, yeah, I don't, well, you can stay at Toys R Us, kid. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. There's nothing wrong with being in contact with your inner child. But we're talking about something a little different here, right? So we demand these things of other people. So you did your fourth, you did your fifth, you've completed the steps, but you still feel like you have resentments and you cannot get rid of them. Okay. A lot of people kept telling me, Dion, those are resentments. Dion, those are resentments. I'm like, they are not resentments. You just don't understand. It was my PTSD. I did the fourth and fifth step right, but I didn't feel it. I wasn't feeling it, and I had to take extra steps. My God, how painful it is to keep demanding the impossible, and how very painful to discover finally that all along we've had the cart before the horse. Then comes the final agony of seeing how awfully wrong we have been, but still finding ourselves unable to get off the emotional merry-go-round. Does that sound familiar? Right? In a week, I used to count my good days. Yay, this is like wake up and yay, this is a good day. And they were far and few in between in the beginning. And what did I do? I went to therapy. Okay. I completed the steps and so this is what we call post-acute withdrawal symptoms. Depression is one of those. Okay. Trauma. We went out into this world. We literally went to sordid places that we knew were bad for us, that were dangerous, looking for approval. And we found it as long as we were buying, right? So, how to translate right mental conviction into right emotional results, and so into easy, happy, and good living? Well, that's not only the neurotics problem, it's the problem of life itself for all of us who have got to the point of real willingness to hew the right principles in all of our affairs. Even then, as we hew away, peace and joy may still elude us. That's the place so many of us AA ulcers have come to. I hear this all the time. You know, Dion, I see old timers in meetings, but they're just not happy. Okay. They come from a different era, ladies and gentlemen. And emotional sobriety is just now starting to take effect because we as people would not accept this. Literally. I didn't hear about emotional sobriety in this until 4 years ago. I've been I've been in now these rooms since 1984. So, okay. Even then, as we hew away, it may still. That's a place so many of us AA ulcers have come to, and it's a hell of a spot. Literally, how shall our unconscious, from which so many of our fears, compulsions, and phony aspirations still stream, be brought in line with what we actually believe, know, and want? How to convince our dumb, raging, and hidden Mr. Hyde becomes our main task. When I found out I had PTSD, I hid. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. As a man, I was embarrassed because, and I was kind of ticked. It's like, it's like, what else can I be tagged with? You know? That's why I don't like saying substance use disorder. It's just another tag, and I ain't gonna say it. I don't care where I go to work. You cannot make me say it. I will put it in my DAP notes so I can get paid. But other than that, no. I've recently come to believe that this can be achieved. And it is true, this can be achieved. I live a very happy, free life. And I'm duly diagnosed. Actually, I'm triply diagnosed, which is still dual diagnosis, but it's fun to say. I'm triple diagnosed. Now somebody's going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm quadruple diagnosed. So all right. So I believe so because I see many benighted ones, folks like you and me, commencing to get results. Last autumn, depression, having really no rational cause at all, almost took me to the cleaners. This man was running AA. He had success coming out of his yin yang, man. But depression still hit him. Dude, I'm reading. Sorry, I began to be scared that I was in for another long chronic spell. Considering the grief I have had with depression, it wasn't a bright prospect. Okay. Now, Bill tried a lot of different things, and I'm certainly not trying. So he tried mushrooms, he tried acid, he tried these different things, and they did not work. They didn't work. Okay. Doesn't mean he relapsed. This was a different era. So take it for what it is. Okay. Considering the grief, I kept asking myself, why can't the 12 steps work to release depression? By the hour, I stared at the St. Francis prayer. It's better to comfort than to be comforted. Here was the formula, all right, but why didn't it work? Suddenly, I realized what the matter was. My basic flaw had always been dependence, almost absolute dependence on people or circumstances to supply me with prestige, security, and the like. Failing to get these according to my perfectionist dreams and specifications, I had fought for them. And when defeat came, so did my depression. You're welcome, Ingrid. I'm glad you were able to make it. I like you. You're becoming a good friend. There wasn't a chance of making the outgoing love of St. Francis as a workable and joyous way of life until these fatal and almost absolute dependencies were cut away. One more paragraph here and then I'm going to cover it. Okay. But listen to this. Until these fatal, here again, we're back to fatal. Okay. Remember that resentment is the number one killer. Okay. Now, when my anger pops up or I have an anxiety moment, my heart rate gets so high that it's dangerous. Literally dangerous. I have to go to the hospital. No, unless I can calm myself down. But if I get in that anxiety, uh-uh. Okay, so what do? I do a lot of prevention work. It's called prevention. That means I set myself up to succeed. And this is how I do it right here. Because I had over the years undergone a little spiritual development, the absolute quality of these frightful dependencies had never before been so starkly revealed, reinforced by what grace I could secure in prayer. I found I had to exert every ounce of will and action to cut off these faulty emotional dependencies upon people, upon AA indeed, upon any circumstance whatsoever. Then only could I be free to love as Francis had. Emotional and in sorry, emotional and instinctual satisfactions I saw were really the extra dividends of having love, offering love, and expressing love appropriate to each relation in life. Those last two sentences cover so much. Okay. So the first step in this is that we have to realize that we are still using other people to make us feel good, to make us happy, to bring us relief. And we must stop doing that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you will have expectations, and this person is human and they will fail. So, guess what you're going to get? Depressed because you are relying on somebody else. Okay. This is not, this was probably the hardest part of the program for me. Okay. Most of the program came easy to me. I went through it when I was younger. I had 12 years of sobriety. I knew what to anticipate. And I came in with the fervor of a dying man because my options in my head, these were my options: recovery or death. Those were the two things that I had left. Those were the only two options in my life. I did not want alcohol anymore. Right? But even at this age, I found that I still had emotional dependencies on my mom, my parent, my some of the men that tried to raise me. I don't want to call them dads because they never were dads to me, right? No, I didn't have an easy childhood. I had a lot of trauma in my life, and I had to take care of it. So I went to therapy and I did EMDR, which I highly, highly, highly recommend. Okay. I'm going to explain EMDR real quick. I'm going to explain to you what's going on, what's happening. When you have trauma, if you have experienced trauma in your life and you think of it, your brain thinks it is happening right now when it was 25 years ago. And it stays there. And unless you've done EMDR or therapy, it will continue to happen. Okay. For me, I can do this now. When a memory pops up, I can say, that's a memory. It's not happening right now, Dion. And it automatically moves over to my memory. I'm going to use Wendell, who was the man that raised me. Okay. Um, I don't have much respect for the man. I'm just going to leave it at that. But I had a lot of intrusive thoughts about him that I just didn't want. You know, you get those intrusive thoughts. It's just like, I don't want to think that way. How morbid is that of me? You can't help yourself. So I did EMDR before, you know, I was like, I want to talk about my dad. He's this, he's that. And I had nothing but negative things to say about the guy. Is that a resentment? No, it wasn't. It was my PTSD. Okay. What EMDR does, okay, and what I love about EMDR is it gives us something we love. Instant gratification. As soon as I was done processing my dad, this is what I thought. You know what? I had a roof over my head. I was never we there was always food in the house. The lights were always on. He worked I remember him working 2, 3 jobs to give us the lifestyle that we were used to. And I remembered I wasn't an easy child to raise. I wasn't necessarily a problem child, but I was a child who had a lot of problems. Lazy eye, bedwetting, speech impediment. It was always, all right, what's wrong with Dion now? Now you understand that why I said when I heard that I had PTSD that it just pissed me off. Because I get tired of people telling me what I am. But when you go to a therapist and you're there to get better, you should probably listen to them. They were correct. I did have it. Right? It took them 2 months to convince me of that. 2 months. But once I realized and I had the awareness about it, it started to change. But it took me 2 years. It took 2 years of therapy and very hard work. And now I talk with my therapist and she's like, are we processing? I told her, we're probably not going to process for a while. I'm doing pretty well. Now, that doesn't mean you stop. If as long as I have Medicaid and she is still working, she will be my therapist. I still need that. It is about progress. Progress. So while we're out there, let's remember happiness comes from within. And that's why you hear me say we claim spiritual progress. That is part of healing. You know what? I I did a situation today. You know, like last week I still haven't gotten the kudos I want for it. So I'm gonna keep saying it till I get it. It's probably gonna come from my therapist or my mom. Last week I did something entirely by myself and I was able to do it. That was a huge thing for me. It was a huge step. When I went to recovery coach training, I went there and I raised my, we were introducing ourselves. I let them know I haven't been out of the house in a year. It was tough for me to go down there. I had to ride the bus too. I had my driver's license. So I got through it. All right. So remember, your happiness doesn't come from out here. Your happiness comes from in here. And then you get to go out and spread that happiness around. Good. One more. I'm going to talk about one more thing. There was the last line in what I read. Um, I don't want to muss it up. So, because the way he says it is perfect. I saw. Okay, emotional and instinctual satisfactions I saw were really the extra dividends. So, what is he saying? That he loved himself so much, he had some to give. Okay? Where the extra dividends of having love means starting with me, offering love to you, to my friends. I've offered love here today, let my sisters and stuff know that I love them, right? And and here's the big part. And expressing a love appropriate. You get to love appropriately to each relation of life. You love everybody different. See, I can tell Carrie I love her here, and nobody's going to get upset because I've known her forever. My wife isn't going to get upset. Her hubby ain't going to get upset because they know that we love them most, right? My wife got kind of upset with me because I told her she wasn't my best friend. And I told her, no, you're my wife. That comes with a lot of extra things that best friends do not get. Okay? Loving appropriately. I love it. And once you learn how to love yourself, that whole thing will bust wide open for you. One day you will wake up and you'll be like, I am one free ass motherfucker. All right. I hope that helped. I do. I hope it helped. Let's look at some chats here because some stuff gets in the way. Thanks. It explains a lot. I have the same diagnosis. Yeah. A lot of us do. A lot of it is the same. Okay. Another thing I should put out there real quick. You got to wait 6 months. You got to have the hooch and the drugs out of you for at least 6 months before you can be diagnosed. Because mental illness and addiction look almost exactly alike. So, all right, guys, that's what I got. I will see you tomorrow for the Daily Trudge, hopefully at 9 a.m. And hopefully in the next few days, you'll be seeing some posts about some podcasts coming up. I have one next week. We are going to be talking, my friend Cara. She works at the Kalamazoo Recovery Institute. She is coming on. We're going to talk about medicated assisted treatment. Okay. Neither one of I know nothing, but she's going to come in and she's going to teach us something about it. We might have some other people on. We're going to do that one live. All right. I love you guys. Peace out and have yourself a day. Bye.